We are officially live on YouTube,
Yay.
Facebook, and Facebook group.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm going to go and check myself. I'm so excited, Alex. You made it happen. We're testing new software. Let's see.
Yes, so exciting. And we are getting started in just 8 minutes for our panel on keywords, hashtags, and searches. And as Liz added, there we go. Do it again, Liz.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. Keywords, oh, my, because I think for many of us, this very simple, very useful, very helpful concept and tool when it comes to selling can seem overwhelming and get that oh my reaction whenever you hear it. So we're really happy to have you here today and just talking about how to really apply this to your listings to make the most money, save the most time, and reach the most customers, which is really what this is all about. And I know Clara and Amanda have been really passionate about this topic. We've seen it all over Facebook. Liz, you want to kind of speak to the origins of how this all came about?
Yes. So this conversation has been ongoing in our community. As a lot of people know, I've been selling for a long time, really full-time just for the last couple of years. And then when I branched out from eBay, when I started using List Perfectly, I learned that all these other sites some had keywords, some had tags, some had hashtags. So I never used them because I didn't know what they were. Right. And so I made the leap of faith into our community because community has carried me for so many years. And I just made a post like, hey, you guys, I'm confused. Does anybody know the difference? And this conversation has been ongoing for months because I'm not alone. So that's kind of comforting, but at the same time, it's not, because that means that there's a lot of people that aren't using tags, hashtags, keywords to their fullest potential to get the most amount of sales. So we have this platform. We have you, Alex. We have Amanda and Clara who has this knowledge. So we were able to reach out and come together and be like, okay, please tell us what this is. And I'm so excited because I'm going to learn so much today. And I think that a lot of people in the community are going to learn a lot today too.
That's an incredible story because this is why we love our community. You are guiding us. You're letting us know what you need, what you want, and how can we help and be of assistance with our software to make your life better and help you to increase those sales and sell more. So I'm so excited because keywords, hashtags, and tags and everything else, oh my, is going to cost you zero extra on any channel. So that's what we're so excited about. It's organic. It's free.
It's free. It's a tool to get you found. It's something that everyone should be taking advantage of if the opportunity is there.
Yes. And we're going to explain why, right? We're going to go into detail why you should be considering to use those keywords or tags or hashtags, whatever the channel is. List Perfectly have you covered.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to find out today that not all channels are created equal when it comes to hashtags, keywords, and searches, but there are, this does exist on almost every, if not every platform. And so we're going to walk you through platform by platform, which I think is going to be really helpful just because, we don't all sell on every platform. So by calling out each platform by name, we're going to make you, I know, so much more comfortable with using these tools on each respective platform.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's kind of where it came from is, when I started using List Perfectly, eBay doesn't have tags. So there's a spoiler alert, right? I think we all know that. So when I started seeing Etsy and Grailed and Marketplace, like all these tags, I'm like, I don't know what to put. Yeah. And then I made the post and we were talking about it. And then I noticed that Poshmark added them. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. All of these platforms are adding them, and List Perfectly keeps adding, like the business and pro plan have the tags. And then now there's like I can't remember what it's called. We'll talk about it later, but the autofill. I was like, okay, these have to be important if platforms and List Perfectly are talking about tags. So I think it's becoming more relevant than ever.
And what about because of your post, Liz? What about when Amanda created the auto suggestion for the keywords? That was incredible. I have to say, those were things that I'm so happy that we're going to elaborate today about not only the give you a class of, what is the definition and when to use it, but also how to benefit from List Perfectly and all the help that we're giving you to optimize your listings and help you to be found faster so you can sell more.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we're getting started in just 3 minutes. And for some of us, 10 a.m. PST. For others of us, Liz, am I right? It's 11 a.m. MST?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. We're at 12 in Central. So just lunchtime, and 1 in Eastern. So please grab your water, your sparkling water, your snack, your lunch, and come and join us because we're getting started in just 3 minutes. And it's going to be a really great panel you don't want to miss. But if for any reason you have to go during the panel, we'll be posting this live later on YouTube, our Facebook group, and our Facebook page. And again, if you're not a member of our Facebook group yet, it's something you really need to be a part of. It's really a 24-hour, I don't know what to call it, forum, conversation, community. It's everything. And it's a place to really connect with other people in the community, get your questions answered, get your suggestions heard, share your story, and meet other people within this wonderful family that we call List Perfectly.
And Alex, because of the new software we're using today, Liz, meanwhile you were speaking, I was able to go live also in the boss group, the other group that you're an admin, and I was able to go live there as well. So
oh my goodness, everybody in boss is watching too.
yes, I love it. So that's amazing. So we have Ed, the reselling writer, says good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. Of course, Timani, Teresa, amazing, always. What a community supporter, #1 user of List Perfectly, #1 supporter. So we couldn't be more happy to have you here, Teresa. And then it's Brenda Merkel. Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, Brenda. Thank you for joining us. Vicky, there is Vicky. Vicky from Katie and Vicky. They have an incredible YouTube show where they weekly hold each other accountable for their sales, and they report their findings of what tools they're using to grow their business. Highly recommended. Vicky, thank you for joining us.
And also, Clara, that's so awesome, Vicky. How inspiring that you guys do that every single week. So I would love to just kind of get some feedback. Also in our Facebook group, which is across the screen right now, we have a banner going to let you know where to find us on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Love to hear from you guys about just, would you guys like something like a group chat or a place to actually communicate with each other in a chat forum to do accountability things like what Vicky and Katie are doing? So, and of course, so much more. It's something that we've been chatting about. So while we're just here, just asking the question, and feel free to jump in on Facebook, which is where we'll love to talk about it. I'll be making a post later today. So yeah, that's why our Facebook is rolling across the bottom. And we have, I think, is it 5,000 members now in the community?
We are almost 6,000.
Okay, so we're at almost 6,000 members in the community Facebook group, again, rolling across the bottom of this screen for you to please join us in our free group and get involved. There's such great resources there.
Yeah. Hey, Linda Feldman, join us. Good morning, Linda. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to share with you about keywords and hashtags and everything we know about this topic. And of course, Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. Oh, there is Vicky, live in our post group as well with over 7,000 members. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much.
Well, you guys, it is 10 a.m. PST, so this is when we're supposed to start our wonderful session. Without further ado, let's get started. And these slides will be posted in the link of this video later on today, so you can access them. Don't feel like you need to remember anything specifically from the slides because they will be posted. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and get started. Here we go. Keywords, hashtags, and searches. Oh my.
Oh my. Let's get started.
Okay. And we're just pulling it up.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, Melinda. Melinda is here. Good morning, Melinda Ural. Thank you for joining us. So appreciative for the LP team's big vision, continuing evolution, and extraordinary kindness you show toward us resellers. I've never experienced anything. Oh my God, Melinda. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and your kind words means a lot. You know that we put our soul and our heart, okay, on everything we build for you guys. Your success is our success.
That's right.
Very, very true. Okay, well, let's get started. And thank you again, Melinda, just echoing what Clara said. It's such beautiful words and it means so much to us to hear them. Okay, so today's panel, as you all know, is keywords, hashtags, and searches. Oh my! And I've probably said that 5 to 10 times. So much, and I'm so excited. So today's panel is exactly what you think it is. We're going to break down what are keywords, what are hashtags, how do they affect searches that buyers are typing in to find things and filtering to find things. And we're going to take away the oh my aspect of it today because oh my God, I'm using hashtags effectively and I'm making more sales. So that's what we should change this slide to at the end of the presentation. All right, as you can tell, I'm very excited. Before we jump in, I just wanted to say that we made this graphic and it's available on our website in our referral program creative section for you to add your code to. But we are just so thankful for you to be here, be a part of the LP customers, community, and family. We are, of course, a female-owned and operated business, and we're proud to be that. And just speaking from personal experience, I come from a background of an industry where women are really not given the same opportunities as men in the tech and venture capital world, especially, which is my background. So it means so much to all of us and to me and to Liz and to Teresa and to Tiffany and to all the people, Emily, all of the women on our team, especially, for you to be here and to support and choose us perfectly. So thank you so much for your business and for your time and for being here today. And of course, we have another great announcement. We've added our 12th channel, which is called Heroine. And this is a graphic made by our other female designer, Annie. So again, thank you for supporting our female-owned and operated business. As you see, Heroine is right here on the List Perfectly wheel. It's our 12th marketplace, as we said. And it's actually the sister of Grailed. So for those of you that don't know Grailed, Grailed is a streetwear, designer, athleisure, luxury men's market. Obviously, you can sell things like Adidas and Champion and other sports brands, but all the way up to Louis Vuitton and those high-end designers. And you're going to get pretty much the same thing on the sister marketplace, Heroine, which is for women. So Grailed is for men and Heroine is for women. And same kind of thing. You can sell sportswear, Adidas, like kind of the lower end, not lower end, but, you know, those market brands, as well as the high end luxury brands on Heroine. So I'm getting a comment from Jamie Gordon. She says that I'm adding it here. You added Heroine. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Can't wait to make
Got it, Janine.
Awesome, Janine. And I just wanted to say, you guys, don't sleep on our platforms. You may have never heard of Heroine before, and you may have never heard of Grailed before. And look at Janine, 333 sales on Grailed. So Janine, so excited to offer you Heroine and of course everyone else.
Yeah, and watch for that. It's coming very soon. We're going to release it in our next beta.
Yes, thank you, Amanda. I got so excited, I forgot to say that it is coming this June. So it is not live yet, but it is coming this June.
Yes.
So Amanda.
No, we're bringing more channels
Oh, yeah.
also. Oh, yeah. Wait to see. We're going to do something special for summer. So I just wanted to add that up.
Awesome. And awesome to see that you guys are loving Grailed and Heroine. And of course, we're going to help you make it even easier to list there. And like Clara said, more channels coming soon. So get ready for that. Okay, so we're going to dive into the topic now. So what are tags and what are hashtags? So on certain marketplaces, they use the word tag or they use the word hashtag. But I do want to let you guys know that hashtags and tags are essentially the same thing. Hashtags are simply preceded by a hash sign, that number sign. So a tag and a hashtag, again, are the same thing. Just the hashtag is preceded by the hashtag sign and does not contain any spaces ever because it is a hashtag. So keywords, which we're going to go over in a moment, are ideas and topics that define what your listing is about. And those can actually be a phrase or it could just be a word itself. So we're going to dive in a moment, but I just want to kind of give you guys the different ideas here. So keywords, again, are ideas and topics that define what your listings are about. Hashtags are a word or phrase preceded by a hash sign. And the difference between tags and hashtags, even though they are the same thing, is that hashtags, they basically came from social media. So platforms like, we're going to get into all of them, but platforms like Instagram, for example, use hashtags instead of tags. But again, hashtags and tags are the same thing, just hashtags preceded by a hash sign. And the hash sign basically index your word in the function of the search as a keyword. So when you type in that hashtag in front of it and you add the word vintage, that's going to actually be a searchable term in the search. So whether it's in the search itself on a marketplace or the search of a social media platform or searching on Google, hashtags get indexed or registered as keywords in searches. Now, I hope this wasn't too complex, and I'm going to let Amanda and Clara kind of jump in a moment on this. But if I had to just say one sentence about it, and I'm going to put it as a banner right after I'm done saying it out loud, it's that keywords, hashtags, and searches are all the same thing. They are used to define and describe aspects of your listings. They just take form in different formats. So a hashtag has this symbol in front of it. A tag is usually going to be actually displayed on the website in this little box as a clickable informational tag that takes you to everything within that descriptor. And a keyword is something associated directly to your listing. So again, these are all the same function. They just take different formats.
Thank you for describing that, because I am so lost. I think that when I was asking you about them before, I was like, but a tag, but it says hashtag, but it says tag. I don't get it. And you broke it down for me. I was like, okay. So I'm looking at this and the big question comes along, we have all these different platforms that have these different tags or hashtags. Why are tags and hashtags important for sellers?
Oh my goodness. So
Amanda, Clara, would either of you like to take that one?
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take on the non-technical answer. I'm going to give you the business perspective, and then Amanda will give her more techie answer. Mm-hmm. Now, from the business perspective, okay, what I do is business growth. That's what is my specialty. So when you're growing your business, it's important that you take advantage of any free tool that you can use in order to grow your business, because growing I would say the first year is the most expensive cost you're going to have when you're expanding your business. So what makes these tags and hashtags so enticing, and I highly recommend you to use, is because A, they're free, and B, they're optimizing your listings for your buyers to find your products faster. And you can add terms that are not included in your listing. So now this is what is going to accelerate your sales organically without the need of promoting listings. Maybe if it is Poshmark, you're sharing a little less. Poshmark just added them. So that's the business growth answer that I have, Mandy. What do you think?
I like to think of them like a grouping, if you will. So if I have, let's say I'm a Shelby Cobra fan, right? The car. There's lots of things that fall under Shelby Cobra. Are we talking about parts? Are we talking about, the like seats, or maybe a jacket that's part of Shelby Cobra? Like anything that's in that group, you can put, it's like a keyword. You can put that in your listing to get that attention.
To tie along to you.
Muscle car. Tie all these things together.
Imagine muscle car. So now this person is looking, let's say they're looking for a part, but you happen to have, the jacket of, of the Ford, whatever is vintage or new, you have it, and you put muscle car, and the buyer was looking for muscle car. He was like, hey, like sometimes I look for, travel cat on Amazon sometimes, and see what happens.
I love that. I love that, because if I were to to list that Shelby Cobra jacket, I wouldn't even think to put muscle car in the title because there's not enough room. And I probably, by the time I got down to my listing, I probably wouldn't put that in, but a tag is a great place to put it.
Yes, and they overlap. So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They overlap. So it's not a category is very specific, right? If you want car parts or clothing or whatever, but a tag can be more universal and more adaptable.
Exactly. So buyers that are searching, okay, without a specific category, okay, they're going to be able to see your listings. Imagine how limiting is when we buyers, okay, we go by category, okay. So that the feature is one more way, one more road to find your products and make it visible faster.
So I can see that by, we spend so much time optimizing our listing. So that's an additional free way to optimize it. And free advertising. It's another spot for keyword and it's a place to put it to where it makes sense for the listing. So we talked a lot about, Poshmark or Etsy or Grailed. So how are tags and hashtags used on the different platforms?
Yeah. So Liz, I'm going to dive into this in just one
moment.
I do just want to kind of follow up with this wonderful slide because I think it breaks it down really easily.
I love it.
When we think about keywords and just even in any way, right? Like when we're writing a blog or reading an article, usually we write our keywords into the description or into a body of text, right? So we'll make sure to get that Shelby Cobra authentic jacket written into the entire paragraph talking about the car so that is a word that is associated with our listing or our article or our blog. Now, a hashtag or a tag, again, same thing, is just a way to essentially rip out those keywords out of the description and put them in a specific section that is optimized for searches. So I think that's just a really great way to think about this. It's not different than your keywords. It's just a specific section and place that marketplaces and platforms optimize around. Does that?
I love it.
Yeah, and if anyone has questions, please drop them in. But as Liz just asked, how are they used on the different platforms? So Liz, let's dive into each of those platforms.
This is my favorite thing. Well done, team. I love this chart. And for you viewers, this is going to be available, but this is incredible. Thank you, Alex. Great job.
Absolutely. So again, the format of hashtags and tags and search and keywords are all different, but they all are doing the same thing. So a hashtag has no spaces, and we're going to look at the example at the top. It says hashtag authentic leather. Then a tag would actually be separated by a space. So you have that word authentic leather as a phrase, a tag or a keyword phrase. So on Etsy, they do not have hashtags. They have tags, and they allow you 13 tags, and they allow spaces in your tags as well. And so one thing I think is really important is each word of your spaced out tag is actually going to be registered as an individual word. And they're also going to be registered as a phrase. So that's why on Etsy, when it gives you ideas, it's actually going to give you like, these are some things you might want to tag on your listing, and it'll be suggested tags. That's sometimes why they'll give you those phrases or not single word, because you're really getting the most out of your single tag when you use multiple words in it on Etsy. Okay, so eBay, it's not applicable. On Mercari, you get 3 hashtags. That's all you get. So use them wisely. And one great way to figure out what you should hashtag is to look at similar listings in your, similar to the product that you're listing, and see what other people are doing. And I really recommend, of course, looking at the sold listings, because that's the hashtags that actually got picked up and actually sold, rather than the ones that are just floating around on a live listing and an active listing. Okay, on Depop, you also get 5 hashtags. Same thing, like what we just described on Mercari, same concept, look, at the listings that have sold. And also Depop does have a section that shows you the top hashtags, so you can check out, what they're actually trending and picking up that week. Okay, Citizen as well, not applicable. But Instagram, of course, has 30 hashtags. That's the most, besides Shopify, which we're going to get to in a moment, but that's the most public facing tags or hashtags. And you get 30 on Instagram. We're going to dive into each platform in a moment. Shopify, you're going to get 250 tags. Now, these are actually for internal use only. Yeah. This is one of the only platforms that the buyer is not going to discover your listing off of your hashtags or tags. It's really just for you. So you could literally hashtag something like, not that I'd recommend this, and Liz has such better, ideas for inventory management than I do, as you can see behind her. But you can actually put as a tag, in bin B4, which would be like your label on the bin that you have that item in. So it's for you. Again, you might want to say, on rack 5 or whatever it might be that's internal to you. Or I purchased this at Goodwill, or I purchased this at Savers or whatever, however you want to mark your item for you again. Okay, so Grilled and Heroin, again, brother and sister platforms, Heroin being our newest 12th platform we just added. You get 10 tags up to 32 characters, no spaces. So basically just really long words or phrases. And they also give you tips. So definitely check out those tips that they give you. Yeah. Tradesy gives you 5 tags with spaces. And Poshmark gives you 3 style tags, is what they call it, because it is obviously a fashion geared marketplace. Although, as we all know, they have lots of other categories, but that's how they started. So they offer 3 style tags. Facebook Marketplace, unfortunately, it really does vary by the user. They're always testing different features. And so, as you guys may or may not know, our Instagrams can look completely different on any given day, and Facebook's the same way. So again, that's just going to be something you discover. Okay, Liz, should we dive into each platform?
We should. I just wanted to add, in case anybody is not on any of those platforms. So when Alex says that they have tips or ideas, right in the listing flow on those platforms, right where it says tags, there's a little clickable link that says ideas or tips, and you can click on that and it'll give you ideas specific for that platform. So where Alex has that listed on that graph, like Grilled and Heroin, right where you put the tags, you just click it. Yeah. And it'll give you ideas.
Thank you, Liz. That's very important, because for those of you that I can understand, it could be a little intimidating, okay? But reading those tips. Me. Oh, me too. I just have Amanda that created software for me. Otherwise, I'm like, I get like deer, frozen.
Yeah. So this is what I learned. I just want to tell, this is a pro tip that I learned or discovered while I was working with Amanda, Clara, and Alex on this. I had another light bulb moment. I was like, but how do I know when I'm in my List Perfectly listing flow? Because I do all of my items in the List Perfectly listing flow in the tag section. I'm like, well, I can put authentic space leather for tags. And then some marketplaces have hashtags, and then it has to be authentic leather, one word. So my question to them was, do I need to put them both in? Authentic leather is one word, and then authentic space leather. So what was the answer that I got from that? And what was my light bulb moment? Do you want to answer that? Anyone?
I'm going to let Amanda and Clara.
You remember?
Great.
Please. No.
We'll go right
Go
ahead,
Liz.
Okay. So my light bulb moment was, they're like, Liz, we do the work for you. Stop doing that. They're like, just type it in once and we will autofill it for the platform. So you don't have to do any of that work.
Yeah, we will remove the space for you. So even if you do authentic leather couch, even if you do 3 terms in a phrase, authentic leather couch, we will remove the spaces on the platforms that do not allow spaces. And I do recommend, as a pro tip, to use phrases rather than words on the platforms that allow you to. So have a nice combination, because the platforms are going to take each word on its own. Yeah. So if you have authentic leather and couch and someone types authentic, that is going to come up. If someone types leather, it's going to come up. If someone types couch, it's going to come up. Yep. But of course, if they actually type authentic leather couch, you might actually be the first one, since you have that full term.
Yes. Well said, Alex. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so, in general, just to go along with Liz's point, if you have a strong phrase that you want to use and you want it to go everywhere, just put it in with the spaces. And then where we need to take them out, we'll take them out. It's not a problem. That way you get it across all marketplaces the way you want.
And that's the beauty of what she did, okay? Because think about it, guys, okay? You can choose to do this manually and copy this chart, okay?
I don't want to.
Learn to do it by channel, or save your listings in List Perfectly.
Yeah.
We even have a keyword suggestion, okay? And we will do the hard work for you and send the right format to whatever channel you're working with that is supported by List Perfectly.
Exactly.
So yes, thank you for that. Thank you for taking that guesswork out of my hands.
Absolutely. And one other quick tip before we dive into each one, strongly recommend lead off your tags with the strongest ones. So put them in the front, just like you would build your title. Always build your title with the strongest words in the front, and then the less important, put them in the back. Same with keywords. Put your strongest ones at the beginning of your keyword section, the weaker ones in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Amanda, people there's going to be some repeat terms here. In your description of your high-waisted jeans, you might write high-waisted jeans. That's also a tag, high-waisted. So just make sure that you don't feel like you're being repetitive. You're not. This is a specific section to pull out those keywords and put them into actual section dedicated for them. And I see Melinda saying, whoa, light bulb. So yes, Melinda, exactly. It's not repetitive. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. It's just pulling out those terms that you would use if you were literally talking to me. Hey, Alex, want to buy my high-waisted jeans? Here's all these great things. They're light wash. They have a vintage fit. They are 70s. They're new with, they're like new condition. And that is all stuff that you can then pull out of what you would actually say or type into the listing and put in this specific section. Yeah. So
I want to encourage our audience, okay? I know we're giving you a class of these, we're doing a panel, but if you have any questions, okay, please put it in the comments right now. We'll give you the keywords. We'll do examples for you. We love doing this. Feel free to ask us questions. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, that's great. And be specific with your questions. You can ask us something that's just for you. This is your time. So if you have a question about your specific, antique Mickey Mouse gumball dispenser, we're here to talk about it. Let us know, what we can do to help you. And yes, let's dive in. But just a friendly reminder, Liz's light bulb moment was that List Perfectly removes the spaces for you on the platforms that do not allow spaces when you cross post with List Perfectly. So do not worry about making hashtags on List Perfectly. Just worry about making tags that are separated, each word separated, and we'll remove the spaces for you. You don't have to actually go in and delete those spaces when you're cross listing. Okay, so let's dive in to each platform, or at least a highlight of some of the platforms. Here we go. So first, we're going to talk about Instagram, which, as the Chief Marketing Officer at List Perfectly, is my favorite platform.
Hey.
I just want to give a shout out to everyone following us on Instagram. If you're not already, please be sure to follow us on Instagram.com/listperfectly, which I'm typing out right now, or at Perfectly. We do a lot of great stuff on our Instagram. So thank you guys for joining us there. Okay, I'll put that back up in a moment, but let's dive into Instagram, and I'm going to zoom in here. So List Perfectly actually has quite an incredible way of cross-listing your products to List Perfectly. So what we do is we take the hashtags that you enter and you cross-list to Instagram when you select your platform of Instagram, and we add these little symbols. They're actually these little dots, 1, 2, 3, 4. These little dots. There's going to be 5 dots. I'm not sure. Maybe Liz manually deleted one of those dots, but there will be 5 dots in your listing, and it will add your hashtags to the caption underneath these 5 dots. And what that does is it actually makes your hashtags underneath where the viewer would have to click more in order to see them. And that's really, really helpful because you get the benefit of hashtags. So you're using the hashtags that you have, which means that people can discover you on Instagram by those hashtags and you can reach more buyers. They're there. They're just not in my face when I look at the post. They're underneath those 5 dots. And the reason for that is because sometimes, especially on Instagram, those hashtags can become a little bit gratuitous. You can literally have buy my clothes, hashtag shop my clothes, hashtag vintage for sale. So imagine now you're actually talking to a buyer, just like we were saying before, and you're saying, oh, you know, I have these great pants. They're high waisted, they're light wash. And then you're like, buy my clothes. You know, it's like, oh, what? You know, so that is why List Perfectly buries those hashtags underneath those 5 dots so that the buyer actually would have to click more in order to see that part of your listing, that hashtag part. And it's really great that we do that for that reason. So we allow you to get the benefit of reaching your audience with those hashtags and using the space that Instagram has for up to 30 hashtags, but also do it in a way that's sensitive to the presentation and honors your reselling business, your e-commerce business. I think this really speaks to just our mentality at List Perfectly. You know, everything we do is for a reason. I promise you guys that. So if you ever have any questions about why, we'd love to explain it to you, but just know that, you know, helping our sellers, helping our community is our #1 priority. And that's why we do these different kinds of things. So if anyone has any questions about that, happy to answer. But if not, we'll jump to the next.
Yeah, I have one thing to add. So Alex, just a point is they're dots in that example, but you can change them to whatever you want.
Yes.
If you want to put a
Cactuses.
slash or an emoji, something like that, you can do that. And actually,
did you know, by the way, since you're saying that, did you know there is companies that can make an emoji out of your business logo? So you can even do that, okay, with List Perfect. Just to let you know when you want to take your listings to the next level. Yep. Sorry, I got excited.
Absolutely. And then one more point is that the tags show up on the 5th line, but we put 4 separator characters in between. That's it.
Okay. And one thing I want to add, for those of you that are new to Instagram, okay, rookie mistake here. I have Alex now, but you guys know that I started Instagram winging it. I have no idea what I was doing. When you do not exceed the 30 tags, okay, because hashtags or whatever, you know, because if you do, all of a sudden your listing gets published without any tags.
So then I have a quick question. These, what we're calling the separators. So before tags and hashtags are included in the Business and Pro plan, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so then the Instagram, the description separators, those are for both Business and Pro then, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So anybody that sees this is actually just a post that I did to show these shoes. What I did is I went to my List Perfectly up in the top right-hand corner. I went to settings. And your settings on List Perfectly are customizable. On the next to the last line, or no, the very last line, it asks your Instagram description separator. You can right click and put an emoji, a dot. For me, I just chose a dot because I'm not very creative. Maybe I'll change because clearly I don't know what I'm doing with hashtags yet. So that's where you get that. So it is a customizable setting in your List Perfectly extension. That's the word I was looking for.
Thank you.
So that's for the Business and Pro plan. So if you're on those and you don't know how to get it, that's how you do it. Ask a question in the Facebook group. I'll let you know later, or I'll show you how. And then if you see right above that, you'll see DM for payment options or shop all of my stores, link in bio. For the Pro plan users, that is a global footers settings that I have for that. So I'll just throw that in there.
Yes. Okay.
So
but
then
that
with
is
this,
so smart, Liz. Let me clarify. That's incredible. I did it. You taught me there. I never inserted on my Instagram listings a footer because the footers are optional, okay? And I love what you did. DM, okay, for payment and info or whatever, measurements or whatever you need. So that's the pro tip, Liz. Thank you for sharing that. I couldn't emphasize that. So smart.
Pro
You're
tip
welcome. And
pro plan, just adding that in.
yeah. I think that I could ask 100 questions, but I'll get back to my other question and because Alex might answer it later. So,
All right.
So really quick, Liz, before we get off of this Instagram slide, I actually just want to go back to this one really quick with all of our marketplaces on it. So for every, and I'm zoomed in. So there we go. We're zoomed out now. I hope everyone can see everything correctly. Okay, cool. And yep. All right. So we listened to you, our community, and you asked us, can you show us a really simple video of cross-posting to each one of these individual platforms? Like taking your listing from List Perfectly or from your existing platform where you already sell and cross-posting to each one of these on this list. We made videos for you. Actually, Liz, Emily, Tiffany made videos for you. And so these videos are all up on our YouTube. It's how to cross-post to insert platform name. That's what they're called. How to cross post to insert platform name. We literally do it from each plan. We go from simple plan to Etsy, simple plan to eBay, simple plan to Mercari. Then we go business plan. Again, each individual one. Then we go pro plan in each video. And you might be like, okay, well, I'm just on business plan, so I just want to watch business. Great. We have a marker on the video that literally pops up and you can click ahead and go to business. Go to the part that works for you. And these videos are not technical in the sense that they're like, now you will click this button. It's not at all that. Literally Liz chilling at her house, listing as she would on each plan. So she's like, hey guys, I'm going to now click here and, oh, this is what I see. Yeah, I think I'm going to type this in and do I want to use their shipping or my own? Here's the difference. So she's really taking you step by step. I mean, I don't know what to call it other than holding your hand. And I use that in the best way. Because really a best friend that's like, hey, best friend, I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to do this together. That's really what it is. So please don't miss those videos. They do go over hashtags, tags, and keywords as well. So after that, that's a perfect place to follow up. And I'll make sure that that's linked in the show notes.
And thank you so much for sharing that, Alex. And I just want to emphasize there is no replacement for creating your listings on the marketplace where you want to list on, because there's always going to be something that they do that's different from another marketplace. You'll be able to see that when you list with List Perfectly on the marketplace. And it's by design.
By design, you always get to review and control that listing before publishing. It's you who's publishing the listing, making sure your listing has everything your customer needs so you can sell faster.
Yep.
And that's a really great point. You know, it's amazing because you are the last person that sees your listing. Even when List Perfectly copies all of the details for you to your platform, you still see it and you press post, you press publish, you press like live essentially. But even still with that process, we're still saving people 80% of the time it takes to list. Yep. And that's something that's been timed time and again by people outside of our team that are just making their own YouTube videos and saying, I'm going to list with List Perfectly. I'm going to list without. Here's my timer on my phone. And it's 80%, every time. So even though you are reviewing your listings at the end, you're still saving 80% of time and you're being compliant because marketplaces do require that a human being press the publish button. So any tool that auto post for you, that's not in their terms of service. It's really important that you guys protect yourselves. And we are always on, there's a reason that pro sellers and we have, thousands and thousands, over 10,000 people, in the community that trust and use List Perfectly for that reason. We do protect you. And again, everything we think about is for you. Okay. So I think this is going to be Amanda's slide.
Oh, yeah.
We see tags on Etsy.
Can you zoom in a little so we can see the Alex?
Okay, that's great.
That's perfect.
So interesting. In this example, there are no spaces, so it must have come from a product without spaces. But just FYI, in Etsy, you can have spaces. Yes. You can put, for example, the Alex evenings could be spaced out, Alex space evenings, and Etsy will preserve that space.
Yep.
You cannot have a tag more than 20 characters. So each tag on Etsy must be a maximum of 20 characters, and you can get 13
do spaces
of them.
Count?
Yes.
Bueno.
Yes. So just note that if you list on Etsy, they will be they won't go through if they're over 20 characters, and you'll probably get an error. So just keep that in mind.
All right.
But yeah, Etsy 13 keywords. They call them tags, and just like Alex is showing.
Yeah.
And Amanda, this is a great point of why we're recommending that you use spaces with your hashtags or tags section on List Perfectly
Mhm.
is because we will remove the spaces on platforms that don't allow it. But if you just go in automatically with no spaces, it's going to cross list with no spaces. So
Yes.
make sure that you do spaces. We are recommending, it is our recommendation that you use spaces and allow List Perfectly to remove them for you on the platforms that don't allow them. And again, you're going to get the most reach for your words when you use spaces. And again, you're not reinventing the wheel. You are highlighting a specific number of keywords as a hashtag or tag in this designated section.
That's right. And you know what's interesting, Alex, I wanted to go back to Etsy for a second, zoom in. If you see, Alex even put her name as
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
That's
Thank
a pro
you.
tip.
Pro
Pro tip
tip.
from Alex.
Put your business name,
yes.
for goodness sake, promote branding 101. Okay. Put the clothing vault was my business. Oh my goodness. I have it everywhere. I even made boards on Pinterest about the clothing vault. Anywhere that I could put hashtags and put the space, clothing space, vault. The clothing vault. Okay. I use both of them. Okay. I was making sure that they would find me. And that you don't have to do it with every listing. I would do it, for example, with my top shelf, right? But that's something, again, well done, Alex, and thank you for that great example on Etsy.
So 2, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So would you recommend putting that as the last tag?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for saying that.
Thank
Put
you.
it more towards the back. Again, this is a good example of put your strongest keywords in the front. On Etsy, you get 13. So you have a lot of space, but on Mercari, you might want a stronger keyword to lead off the hashtag in that case.
Yeah, Art Deco, I don't know, golden, I don't know, platinum, titanium, whatever, something else, and then you put your business name at the end.
And then second, for anybody watching this is just coincidental, but I'm glad you picked up on it. This was something that I sent Alex. This is actually one of my listings, and that's actually the brand. So Alex is her own brand, but it's also a brand. But I think this is a perfect example of me, a real seller prior to my light bulb moment, not understanding how tags and hashtags work. So then this leads to a question that I was going to ask in Instagram. So let's say you look at this, I have special event because I thought it had to be one. I didn't know. So what I could do, and you can see right before that, I had event. So really my new way, tell me if this is right, is I would do special space event, comma, and then it would pick up special event. Pick up special event. It would pick up special and it would pick up event.
Yes.
Which means that I don't have to put event there. Is that correct?
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. We're talking about the fastest way, Amanda. We're not going the nitty gritty.
Right,
okay,
right.
Don't go. I know she's gonna go. Look, I can see she's going. But no, for us sellers, that we have to remember, we're doing 50 new listings a day, cross posting maybe for 30.
Sure.
So that's what I'm thinking in volume. Yes, you got it right.
And then
absolutely.
So thirdly, and I know we've got so much to cover, but thirdly, and I think this is important, or fourthly, or wherever I'm at, 10thly. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. So with that, let's say I'm a new seller. I really don't have time for this, but I'm using the List Perfectly listing flow and I'm filling out all of my spaces. On the Pro plan, there's actually a spot where you could just, what is the name of that? Because I typed mine and I didn't do a very good job, but now I know because of this. So what is that called? There's a spot in the listing flow where it'll say suggest tags.
Oh, yes.
And you push that and List Perfectly will just pull it from your listing flow and do it for you.
It's the details that you've already put into your listing on List Perfectly.
Exactly. So what we do on List Perfectly, we'll go and read, your title and your product description, and randomly select the features that we think, given of our knowledge, that would be the most likable keywords to accelerate your sales.
So that's perfect for somebody beginning and somebody that's learning to make yourself better later down the road, or simply just use that.
It's one click.
It's one button.
One click is you're not gonna lose a hand. Click. That's it. Use it, please. We cannot emphasize. One thing that I did like I'm gonna share about Liz. Well, I'll share it when we get to Poshmark because I love what you did with Poshmark. Okay. I'm going to say that workaround.
I'm going to just
Okay.
jump in really quickly and just make sure this doesn't go unheard.
Yeah.
The pro plan on List Perfectly generates tags and keywords for you. It suggests them for you. So you press a button on the List Perfectly add or create listing page, right? Just like you would make a listing on eBay or Poshmark or Etsy. You create your listing on List Perfectly, and we do suggest hashtags and tags for you based on your details. So if you're some people think, oh, the pro plan is for pro sellers that have 10,000 items and, are cross-listing 1,000 items a week. No, actually, the pro plan is the most robust, highest feature, plan that we have that is actually such a great tool for beginners in so many ways, as well as full-blown e-commerce businesses or people that own retail stores that need the power of the pro plan. I just got a question from Marissa. She asked, is that suggestion automatic? Yes, List Perfectly automatically generates those tags and hashtags for you. And of course, you have the ability to edit them. But if you're really just drawing a blank and you want to save time, even more time, and not have to think about what keywords from your description, your listing, and your title to make into tags and hashtags, then yeah, the pro plan does do that for you. And so it is really a great tool for beginners. And there's so many other things we could sit here and talk about. Actually, I'm almost like we should have a panel called Pro Plan for Beginners because
Yeah, we will do that one. All right.
Quite a plan. So I do have I have another question from Marissa about this topic. And Amanda and Clara, I think you're the best to answer this. She's asking, if I import a listing from Poshmark or eBay into my List Perfectly catalog, does it still generate? So I think the answer, and Amanda, I'd love to confirm, is just that yes, you go into the edit product page. Once that listing is imported into your LP catalog, you click on it and you edit it, and you can then click that suggested keyword option and it will fill for you. Am I right, Amanda?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
That's correct.
Just one quick thing. We do always recommend create your listings and List Perfectly first.
Yeah.
And then they'll be more universal going everywhere.
Exactly.
In that way.
Yeah. So what's the next channel we have? What's the next platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next platform is Grilled. Again, Heroin and Grilled work the exact same way. So you are going to see hashtags on both of these platforms. You hashtags do not allow for spaces, but you should put spaces in your tag section. List Perfectly will remove them for you to get hashtag special event and hashtag Alex evenings. We'll remove those spaces for you. So go ahead and
can you zoom in, please? I want to show the on Grail.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay. Zoom in, and we're going to show the button that we were talking with Liz earlier. Scroll down a little. Okay, perfect. Tagging tips. So you see in blue there, for those of you that are new with tags and hashtags and oh my, okay, click there. Okay, it's very valuable to read. Okay, we highly encourage you, and it's free again. Free?
Yeah, it's free.
Thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. So next up, we have our next question, which is, how did I do my tags on List Perfectly? We've already talked a lot about this, but we are going to just reiterate that you should do your tags with spaces, and we will remove them from platforms that do not allow spaces. I actually just got a question about this from Snazzy Souls. Is it better to put black mini dress or best little black dress? Now, actually, this depends on the platform, on who's searching what terms. The great thing is that you have the word black and dress in both of them. So two different buyers are going to search for mini dress or little black dress. To be honest with you, and I'm just going to speak as Alex, as a buyer, someone who purchases on platforms all the time, just made a purchase yesterday, so mini dress is going to be someone who's, going out in a mini dress, like wanting to have that mini dress and go out and maybe go to a party or a bar or a restaurant or a date. And little black dress is typically something that even a more mature buyer would search for. You know, little black dress is kind of a universal term. So it's a different buyer. So first of all, it's great to use both of these terms. It's great that you have 3 words and 4 words are actually, or best I see. So 3 words in each. You have black mini dress and little black dress. So those are 2 different tags, excuse me, and can be made into a hashtag without spaces by List Perfectly. But I would use both of those. I think the key here, and this is exactly to our question, how should I do my tags on List Perfectly, is that you used spaces and you used multi-term phrases. Yeah. So the fact that you got 3 words with spaces in each of those means that you're doing both of them right. So good job.
Yeah. Oh, up to how many hashtag tags does List Perfectly can handle?
We're not limited.
Did you hear that?
As many.
Oh, wait. And do I pay extra for it?
No, you don't.
Oh.
I had a thought. It was based on what Alex just said. Well, I lost it. It'll come. Don't worry about it.
So we're about to wrap up this session, but I do want to encourage everyone to leave your comments, your questions. We have quite an audience today, so thank you on 3 different platforms, on our Facebook group, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, leave your questions. I'm just going to wrap this up with good things come to those who hustle. And really, that's why we made this hashtag webinar panel, because you guys are here. You're learning. This is part of the hustle, and you're going to reach so many more buyers as a result of being here. So I'm going to take it back to our title slide, which is what I said in the beginning. We hope that you walk away from this saying keywords, hashtags, and searches. Oh my God, I'm about to sell so much more stuff. So that's to be right now, and we're very happy.
Hey, we have questions. We do have questions. Okay, Melinda is saying, "Oh, Mandy, did you get your thought back?"
I did. I remember.
I know you got it. You got it.
Okay, light bulb. So what I was going to say is I talked in the beginning about how I think about keywords as grouping, right? So you can have big groups of, I use Shelby Cobra as an example. That's a big, big overarching term. But to the question that we just had, should I use black mini dress or little black dress? Think about what your buyer would search for. That's a phrase that can be a tag. So and if you want to use both, as Alex suggested, absolutely do that. But it's important also to think about, okay, big groups, maybe you want to be included in that, but your item might be a little harder to find, where a more specific search term might make your item stand out. So,
and what if
don't always go with popularity?
And what if, but yes, but what if mini little black dress is right now a style? Okay, that is like, you know, it's hip on the summer season. Okay, so it's very seasonal. Okay, so make sure that when in doubt, you keep it simple. But if you know that product, okay, is like Art Deco, okay, or muscle car or whatever it is, okay, just make sure you add that as well. And, you know, like Amanda said, okay, put it in order of priority, okay, like an incredible feature of the product, whether it's the material made of gold or maybe satin or silk or whatever it is, okay, you put that first and then you go, you know, with the other keywords that are not so much relevant maybe to the product.
Yeah.
Oh, Marisa.
Yes, you guys have convinced me to use tags. So happy to hear that. I actually have a great question, Amanda, for you. So I'm going to I think I have this question right. So she's saying, when you put your unlimited $0 extra number of tags into List Perfectly, they are separated by commas. So you'll do vintage dress, comma, and the next tag, right? So she's asking, do I need spaces in between my commas? So
no, commas enough.
Comma is enough. No worries.
You could have a space, but you could also not. Doesn't matter.
Right.
It has to be with commas. What if I put a dash or a dot?
Has to be a comma.
Thank you.
Must be a comma.
Okay. No other. No other symbol, please. Just commas, no spaces or spaces. You choose. We'll fix it for you.
And for anyone that doesn't know, when you list on List Perfectly, we have little help bubbles in just about every section. So if you ever have a question, you just
Yes.
click that little help bubble or hover over it. It'll tell you what you need to do.
Oh, in addition, we just read it. And thank you, Alex and Team Liz perfectly. And Liz, you even collaborated reviewing we just read it, all of our instructions. We have new videos, everything you need, guide to Liz perfectly.
Absolutely. So Amanda and Clara, we're still getting some questions, but while we wait for people to kind of come in here, I've been copying and pasting a bunch of different events and things we have coming up into the chat here. And I want to let everybody know what's going on now, with List Perfectly. So today, let me actually hide this comment. Thank you so much, Snazzy Souls. Okay, so we have a lot of great events coming up with List Perfectly all month of June that you don't want to miss. Liz is such a rock star because right after this, she's going to do a webinar with WorthPoint, which is a must-have service for anyone selling vintage collectibles or antiques. It is the service you need to have.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say too much more because the webinar is at noon, which is an hour and 8 minutes from my time right now. So an hour and 8 minutes from now, starting at 12 p.m. PST. There's a webinar with Dana Crawford from WorthPoint, who's the strategic director, and Liz. They're going to be talking about using List Perfectly and WorthPoint to skyrocket your collectibles, vintage, and antique business. That's coming up, and I put the link to register. I am going to actually show that link right here, and you can find it in the comments, of course.
And a big thank you to Dana. Incredible support to Liz perfectly, always there for us. Thank you for everything, and we're so happy to support you and everything, the good things that you're doing with WorthPoint. Great solution for vintage sellers, so you can get the maximum amount of dollars, get the right comparables. It's important that you get the right comparables and not just get recent comparables. You don't want to find, search for Christmas now in July and you get, comparables of July. Okay. So that's what is important. Get the right data. And that's what WorthPoint does for you.
And
so
just to really,
oh yes, go ahead.
I was going to say really quick off of that link, if for some reason you're busy today and you can't make it live, register. And WorthPoint will make this video available to you later. So go in and register. Even if you can't make it live, they will make it available to you if you register later. But yeah, we're going to do some cool WorthPoint and List Perfectly stuff together. So join us if you can.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Incredible. Much appreciated for everything that you're doing for the community and always sharing your knowledge and supporting.
Well, I'm just learning. I love to learn. As we can all see in here today, that I learned something. I showed you my dirty listing, my not space, right? I'm not even embarrassed about it. I learned. I hope others have learned from it today. But thank you. All three of you, thank you so much. I think that we've got a lot of questions answered today.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely. And okay, you guys, I'm going to just keep going with these awesome events because they are all month and I want to just make sure that they all come out. So the next event after today's WorthPoint panel and webinar is going to be Thursday, June 10th, which is next Thursday. I believe it's a week from today. And we are interviewing Annie, Lou, and Matt. They have a podcast called the Reseller Rundown Podcast. And if you're already listening or not to the List Perfectly Seller Community Podcast, this is another great podcast that is by two resellers and kind of their journey and their experience versus obviously our podcast, the Seller Community Podcast, which is more of a resource and a learning tool and also just networking, even meeting the leaders in the community and of resale. So this is going to be a super seller session, which is an interview with Matt and Annie Lou. And I think for anyone that's interested in starting a YouTube channel or a podcast themselves, this is something that you do not want to miss because it's really going to go into their story and how they've done that, as well as had a successful reselling business. Okay. And also, fun fact, Annie Lou and Matt are in different states and they do the podcast together, and they are, what we would call just really became family through the community. And I think that's really, really cool and something that we all are always, building on and working on is our relationships within the community. So they have a really beautiful story. Okay. After that, we have Clara will be interviewed. Clara, yep, will be interviewed by the amazing Becky Park on her YouTube channel.
Oh, what an honor.
June 17th. And on the 22nd, we will be interviewing Dana Crawford. That's the same person that Liz is doing the panel with on all things WorthPoint. So WorthPoint is the largest resource for researching, valuing, and buying and selling antiques, art, and vintage collectibles. So we are going to be going over that with Dana. And last but not least, that later that day, this actually is not the right day. It's June 22nd. So my apologies.
Okay.
June 22nd. So later that day, we'll be meeting with fashion edutainer Bunny Yan, who has worked for some of the world's biggest brands, including Tom's Shoes.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about Bunny. She was brought in at Tom's to help them figure out what to do with some of their waste, like the scraps that they had on their shoes. And they turned them into this amazing shoe that was debuted at the opening of every Tom's Shoes store worldwide. So that shoe became one of their best-selling shoes. And that's one brand she's worked with. She's worked with Depop. She's worked with tons of
hustler.
Right. And this is what we're doing. This is why this is so cool. We are going to show you how to take stained, tainted,
thank you.
Anything in your wardrobe or your inventory that is not ready to be sold. We're going to show you not only how to upcycle it with no design skill. I have no design skill. So no design skill, but also how then to make more money from it. Because when you take that shirt that's just a random t-shirt and you're able to upcycle it, add that paint, add all the things Bunny, I'm not going to take away from her, is going to show us how to do, you will be able to sell it for more money. And she's also going to show you how to do things in bulk batches. So you're not working on one shirt at a time. You're working on 20 shirts at a time, and they're all tie-dyed and they're all ready to go for more money.
Love it.
That's really what she's going to dive into. You don't want to miss any of this. And
No,
this all went out to everyone in the community via our email, our June newsletter, which everyone has. So go into your email, open up our June newsletter and read it. And of course, it'll be on all of our social media channels. So just stay up on our social media channels and we'll be reminding you of all these amazing sessions.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
I love especially the last part about, upcycling and restoring and whatever, anything that we can do to reduce landfills. When we were a full-time seller, of course, you buy things that are flawed and you didn't see it at the moment of purchase. And we end up fixing that, upcycling things. And literally 15% of my income was, out of things that we would have ended up donating or tossing. And people were happy and paying. We even did ugly Christmas sweaters, Alex, we even did that, with leftover from whatever, and it worked. So I'm so happy you're going to talk about these very important sellers. Your trash, it's literally someone else's treasure, literally.
Exactly. It's going to be a great session. And that's honestly our whole session for today. So thank you everyone so much for watching, for being here, and for supporting our female-owned and operated business, as we discussed earlier. We just really hope this helped you. And again, we'll be linking the slides as well as the how to cross post to, and then each platform, those really awesome videos that Liz made with the help of our team, in the notes of this video. So you'll be able to get to them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Everybody, Alice.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.